Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Ash vs. the Evil Dead episode review. This is for episode 6, The Killer of Killers. It is not the season finale. I'm really happy. I was led to believe that Ash vs. the Evil Dead was like Into the Badlands, only a 6-episode miniseries. I'm really, well, season, because there is a season 2, but I'm really glad to say it's not. I found out there are several episodes still to go. I'm very, very, very happy about that because I'm really enjoying Ash vs. the Evil Dead. And I do believe, especially after watching this episode, there's a lot more to tell before this season is done. This, first of all, first part, non-spoiler, abridged version of the episode, and just my initial thoughts. Second part, more spoilers. So if you didn't watch the episode yet, you come back and watch this episode later, but at least you can see what I thought of the episode before you go watch it. But by now, I would think a lot of people have seen it, because this review is a day late. It's actually going up back-to-back with my Into the Badlands review. But anyway, I thought this episode was really great. It takes place in one venue. Again, Ash vs. Evil Dead is a half-hour show, so you can squeeze a lot of dialogue in here, but mostly Ash is thinking now, after what's happened, he has to go back to the cabin, and he doesn't want Kelly or Pablo to follow him, but they kind of convince him, because of all they've been through already, that they deserve to be there with him, and if they do end up getting possessed, because Ash is worried, because everybody who's gone with him to the cabin, he ended up having to kill, which makes sense. But they said it would. Pablo made a joke about it being an honor to be killed by Ash if he became a Deadite. There are Deadites. There is an attack. The darkness does attempt to attack Ash. My one complaint was Lucy Lawless's character, which her name is Ruby. I'm going to start calling her Ruby now. Ruby disappears really quickly in this episode. She gets like a minute cameo in this episode and then disappeared. And when I first started watching this episode, I was led to believe it was a finale. I'm really glad it's not now, because I was like, what's going to happen with her character? Because we're getting tidbits about what her character is, but we're not getting the full picture yet. Amanda, however, does confront Ash, and let's just say she kind of finally sort of gets to see what's really going on, because I believe Lucy Lawless' character somehow is connected to the darkness, but we don't know yet. There's really great action in here. You definitely see that Pablo and Kelly's character, both their characters, are developing. They've been with Ash for a while. The darkness has taken something away from them, and they want their, I don't want to call it revenge, but they want their, they want to, get, I guess you can only call it revenge if you think about it, but they want to get the darkness and destroy it, because it had impacts on both their lives. They lost somebody close to them now. We get to see Ash with his new robotic hand that Kelly, even though she was possessed, and Pablo made in the previous episode. So he's enjoying it at the beginning of the episode as well. It was a really great action-packed episode, and it definitely sets the tone for where things are going to be going towards the season finale. I don't want to go any further than that, because I don't want to do spoilers. Again, it was a really, not short, it's a half-hour show, like I said, but it was really just a point A to point B plot in this episode, and it was a very short one. It was like really more kind of surrounding Amanda and Ash. So I don't want to go into any more spoilers yet. If you haven't watched, I would recommend watching this episode. Action-packed. A lot of people I saw commenting about this episode last night were saying the action finally kicked up, because a lot of it was a lot of talking, not much action. This episode definitely answered that call. There was a lot more action in here. You get the chainsaw, you get the shotgun, you get everything. So I would think this was definitely one of those moments for Ash vs. Evil Dead for sure. Definitely one of the highlighted, spotlighted episodes. So I would definitely recommend going to check it out. Alright, from this point on, we're going to go a little bit more spoilery. So if you didn't watch the episode yet and you don't want to be spoiled, I recommend taking this video, pausing it, go watch the episode, and come back later, put this in your watch later pile. So this episode really focused around Ash, Pablo, and Kelly. They're at this restaurant, and Ash can't pay the bill. Pablo and Kelly go back to the camper. He tries to seduce the waitress, whose husband apparently is the chef, and he's a scary man without being possessed. And Amanda's character, after losing Lucy, and Ash's hand goes missing, by the way, also, which that definitely is going to be playing out, I'm sure, in future episodes. But Ash's hand has gone missing. Lucy Lawless' character gets dragged into a fire, and she goes missing. But we find out that she backstabbed the darkness, or did something or she is trying to one-up the darkness. So I don't know if she's a part of the darkness, or I don't know, but there's definitely something shady about Ruby's character. Amanda finds Ash. She calls in to her superior. He comes down to the restaurant with her, but she doesn't want Ash to leave, so he's in the bathroom. She shows up and tries to arrest him again. They get out to the main part of the restaurant, and that's when the darkness attacks. And we get Deadite action out the wazoo. We've got this the waitress who becomes possessed. The head of the police who was there at that time gets possessed, and I believe the chef got possessed as well. And there was one really bad scene with this kid, and Amanda finally realizes that it's not Ash that's doing all the killing, that he's killing the bad guys. It just happens to look like the bad guys are innocent, but they're not. And like I said, Pablo and Kelly's character, they show up. They give Ash the shotgun and the chainsaw. They fight their own specific, each one of them gets their own Deadite, so to speak. And then Ash takes out the head of police, of course, because that's the apparently spotlight Deadite. And it ends with Ash offering Amanda to come with him, Kelly, and Pablo, because she's been part of the mix. She sees what's happening. He kind of has a crush on her, and you can see that in this episode. And while Amanda does say yes, I have a feeling that she's following Ash to either betray him in the end, or she's going to try to, at some point, arrest him or bring him in. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I got at the end of this episode. Is she's going to go along with them because she's going to want to try to catch Ash doing something wrong, or actually bring Ash in, try to trick him into being brought into justice, which I think that's going to play a little bit more into the finale. Where's Ruby's character? Where's Ash's hand? And now Ash is headed to the cabin with not 2 but 3 other people. What's going to happen at the cabin? This series is definitely heating up. It is definitely taking a full steam ahead feel to it now. A lot of the other episodes there was a good equal talking and action. This episode, I feel like the action definitely kicked up a notch, and I feel like as we progress towards the ending, we're going to be seeing more and more action. I loved it. Bruce Campbell's acting is amazing as always. I like the character development with Pablo and Kelly. Actually, there is a scene in the camper with Pablo and Kelly in the book. Pablo's like, why don't we just destroy the book? And Kelly's like, no. And Pablo thinks that Kelly, who wants revenge because she lost her family, and Ash, who wants revenge because all those other people that died, that they want to keep the book around instead of just destroying it out, off the bat. And I think that Pablo's wrong, because if you destroy the book, maybe that'll open the gateways of hell also. So I think Pablo is kind of getting the wrong idea about, the book and why Ash isn't completely just destroying it. But I'm almost sure that that's going to play also towards the end of this season, which is cool. I want to see where this is going to go. 5 out of 5 stars. I'm loving Ash vs. Evil Dead. If you're an Army of Darkness fan, Evil Dead fan, you definitely should be checking this series out. It's really great. It's a half hour a week. It's a short show, but it's worth the time to watch. And I'm hoping that maybe with season 2, if season 1 is doing really well, which I hear it is, we'll get extended episodes, like maybe an hour-long episode. I'm not sure. It really depends on what Sam Raimi and his brother want to do with it, and I'm sure Bruce Campbell as well. But here's hoping that Ash vs. Evil Dead lasts for a while, not just 2 seasons. So with that, that's it for this review, guys. Let me know what you thought about Ash vs. the Evil Dead in the comments below. While you're down there, there's a bunch of links in the description connected to stuff right here on Dark Avengers C86, Common Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, Frontline Gaming Zone, Last Ember Press. All places that I frequent, all places that try to give you guys a little bit of stuff each and every day, so when you pop onto our channels or our websites, you have something new to watch. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys really soon in the next video. Take care and keep reading as well.